This is part one of a three-part video tutorial for the use of the new RET Australia dealer portal and app. The use of this portal and app will allow solar businesses to lodge STC claims with RET Australia using some new and highly sophisticated processing tools which allow STC claims to be verified and approved much quicker than manual claims. For the use of the new portal, temporarily log on to ridgeselect.com.au/RET. In the coming weeks, this link will be attached to the dealer portal tab that was shown on the previous page. When you log in through that link, what it will do is provide you with a username and password. For today's tutorial, we'll actually use a demonstration user and password for these demonstration purposes. You click on the verify OTP, OTP meaning one-time password. RET Australia recommends the use of Chrome as the preferred browser for best performance of our portal. Once you've logged in, you'll find that there's a dashboard which provides a variety of functions for you as the main solar retailer. It allows you to create an application, manage and create new installers. If you wish to control an inventory function, there is an inventory function there which RidgeSelect can provide information for you. The profile of your dealership, which you would enter all of your information into, and a main dashboard which, as you log more and more jobs, they will actually provide pins as to where these installations have created around the country. A very handy feature, particularly if you're doing some volume, where it can actually show you areas as to where you're getting good penetration in certain areas. For today, we're going to create a new application. On the left-hand side of this particular taskbar, and it'll bring up an initial tab which will allow you to select between 4 entity types: government, corporate, trustee or individual. First time we'll just use some of the information that we've pre-filled out here previously to make this a little simpler. For the mobile phone number, it's best that you put a +61 in front of the mobile number. This will allow you to ensure that if RET want to be in touch with you, we can get in touch with you via SMS as well as direct phone number. Click Create. And what that will do is automatically take you into the first of 4 pages of the actual application itself. It will pre-populate the information that you've just created. It will then allow you to put an address in, and this is actually a search address function. And once you've put in a certain amount of information, it will actually automatically start to search for your particular installation address that you're trying to load. If for some reason that doesn't auto-fill, then what you can do is manually type in the information here. Select whether it's physical or postal, and a checkbox as to whether the address and postal information of the consumer is the same as the installation details. You need to check whether the customer is registered for GST or not. And then down the bottom there are the signatures mode, which app signatures are sourced via the installer app on site, where the installer would get the consumer and the installer and designer to sign on site. Remote signatures means that you can actually have a paper copy signed by the consumer, installer and designer, and then attach it to the portal at a later stage. For the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to go with the app signatures. Once this particular page has been completed, you can either click the next button or page 2. This will take you to the information of panels, inverters and so forth. What it will allow us to do is to search brands by name. So for now, I can search for either Canadian, Jinko, Trina, bearing in mind that for those of you who may be interested, that the Chengzu Trina panels are expired, whereas the Trina Solar Co brand is not. So if you wanted to go to the Trina brand, you can simply select that particular brand, find a model number that is appropriate to the particular product that you have ordered and are intending to install on site. shows you who the responsible supplier is, the wattage, and as an example, we may choose then and say that it was 10 particular panels. If, as an example, you have 2 different models of panels, and instead of 10 of one model, you have 5 of one model and 5 of another, you can simply click on the Add button, and what it allows you to do is then to, if they are the same brand, choose whichever one it may be. So for argument's sake, that's the one that we've already had, and choose the 285s. So if you had 5 290s and 5 285 watt panels, and you put in that information there, what it will do is automatically calculate the system size, number of panels, and and automatically calculate number of STCs. If, however, this isn't correct and there's only one brand, the minus button will remove that. 10 panels, and again it will just automatically adjust system size, number of panels, and the STCs. The assignment of panels to this job can be done either via the on-site app, which will allow you to scan and attach serial numbers this way, or if you wish to, you can manually enter the panel serial number information here. And once these serial numbers have either been entered manually or via the app, you will find the serial numbers will be dropped into here, and it will come up with a Verify tab, which will allow you to actually verify it. Now, it is important to bear in mind that as of the 1st of October, the Clean Energy Regulator are mandating this serial number panel validation process, and as of that date, it will only be able to be verified on site using a barcode scanner provided by one of the app providers. So you won't be able to verify the panels other than by the installer on site. If there's any questions about this, please feel free to contact RET Australia staff and we'll explain that further. As mentioned, system size, number of STCs, the financial payment is the amount of point of sale discount that you're providing to the consumer, not the amount of money that you're receiving from the REC agent. So it's always the amount of point of sale discount that you've provided to the consumer. Going further, we get to choose the brand of inverter. Again, it's all typeset functional. You can type in Fronius, you can type in SMA, it will bring all the different brands. Let's go back to Fronius as it's a simple one. You can then choose the particular model number, just choose the 5.0.3.m. Bear in mind, this actually tells you that that particular inverter is currently approved until the 10th of May 2021, so you can have certainty that that inverter is actually on the list approved past your date of installation. Once you've chosen your correct inverter, you just click Add, and it will drop that information straight into the selected inverters field. Now, it is important to bear in mind that if you'd had 2 inverters, that you would just click Add, and you can replicate that with the same type of inverter if need be. If that one wasn't correct, you could go back and choose a different inverter. If you had a 5 and a 3, what it will do is give you the 3 and the 5. That's usually fairly unlikely, but in this case you might have an example where you've got 2 5 kilowatt inverters. Press Add, and again you've got the 2 particular correct ones there. You need to check and confirm which type of installation it is, whether it's connected to the grid with battery storage, without battery storage, or off-grid. In this case, we'll just choose the electricity grid connected without battery storage. Type of system is a solar, SGU. Number of warranty on those products is 10 years. And if you wish to put any other warranty description information in there, you can do so for your client reference. At that point, you can click either Next or go to page 3. Before we move on to the next round of information, it is important to remember that not all brands have been registered with the Clean Energy Regulator to become verifiable as yet. If your supplier has not registered with the Clean Energy Regulator, contact them and ask them to participate in the scheme ASAP, as non-verifiable panels will take longer to approve by the Clean Energy Regulator, thus meaning you may have delays in getting paid. Using verifiable panels will allow your business certainty that you are receiving a genuine CEC approved product, and that they can be verified by all parts of the supply chain, including the consumer if need be. So at this point, having clicked onto page number 3, it allows us to choose the installation date, which we'll select just from there. You can obviously choose a date prior if you wish, but we'll select today's date as an example. We'll automatically calculate the deeming period. You can select which type of application it is. If your client's registered for GST, you'll need to put their ABN number and their legal entity name in this section. That should normally be copied directly off the ASIC website on the ABN lookup site, and that's where you can get the correct legal entity title for that ABN. You can choose whether it's single or multi-story. If the property has a property name entered there, whether it's building or structure mounted, or whether it's roof or ground mounted or freestanding. And in this section, you can put in a NMI number. Bear in mind it's 11 digits. If it's not 11 digits, it will just flag up in red saying that you haven't got the correct number. Now, if this is not an existing or an add-on to an existing system, you click on no. If there's not more than one system, you click on no. Vice versa, if there is, provide details about it. But for argument's sake, in this one, we'll say that there might have been a previous system, and you just have to provide a description. So basically what that does is it provides information to the government, the fact that the previous solar has been removed and that the new new solar was installed in the same location on the north-facing roof. Now, as an example, if you had more details and the system was split into 2 arrays, maybe east and west, you may need further space to type, then there's this additional comment section down here if this or any other information that's of note or importance needs to be added. Pre-saved declaration information, depending on the type of installation that you're doing, you may need to change these. So you and your installer will need to discuss that, whether any of these declarations need to be corrected or changed. If by chance your application is actually being resubmitted on behalf of an application that's previously been failed, you'll need to tick this box and get in touch with RET Australia. We'll provide you with some information regarding an accreditation code and some explanatory notes that might need to be written into this section here. If it's not, then simply tick no, and the next section is the installer, electrician and designer selection boxes. Now, if you have multiple installers, they can be added simply by just going to the new section. If you have an installer that is an installer, electrician and a designer all in one, you can tick all 3 boxes and the information here will automatically save their information into the 3 sections, or alternatively you can select either or any of them if you wish. Go through, fill out all that information. You can upload a logo or a profile image of the installer if you wish. Once that's been saved, it will provide a new user name and one-time password for that installer, which you can then provide them, which is unique to that particular installer. Just going back to the list. So if you want to get back into it, just click this edit button. So at this stage, because I haven't saved partial save and exit, you may find that all of this information has been lost. So this is a pretty good example that it's pretty handy to do a partial save and exit at some stage if for some reason that you need to get out of this application. So we've used this particular example as a specific reason why you would make sure that you save and exit. And we'll just quickly whip through and re-complete all this information so that you can see what's being done. Inverter's details are still saved there. We've still got without battery. So at this stage, we'll go back to page 3. And you can see this is very simple to select the information once you are familiar with the site. Now, this description is slightly different from the previous one, but it's all part and parcel the same. Now, going back to there, so we've actually already pre-installed a demonstration installer name. So for him, because we've only got the one, he's listed as both the installer, the electrician, and the designer. So at this page, we can either click next or go to page 4, which will take us to the next section of documents and photos. The vast majority of this information will be provided by the installer via the app on site, but we'll show you in part 3 of this tutorial how you can actually attach the customer invoice, your invoice to claim the STCs and or an electrical certificate if it's not able to be sourced from on site. So we'll just go back to page 3, and at this stage you will do a partial save and exit, and what it will do is provide this new application into your dashboard, and we'll show you all of the various bits of information. This particular application is now sitting there awaiting the installer to go to site and complete the information. At this point, we'll pause there and we'll bring part 2, which will show the process of how to use the installer app on site to complete the next phase.